Today, I want to talk about depression. You see me glancing down at my book. It's just a few pinpoints of what I wanted to talk about in this video so I don't get sidetracked. First of all, this is hard for me to talk about in front of a camera. But the whole point of this channel is for me to talk about what I'm going through and share with others so that maybe they can relate to the experience and maybe find something that will help them as well, I guess. So I suffer from depression. The last couple months have been extremely difficult. Um, it started the end of September, and I noticed that I was just off. Um, every little tiny thing about life and just normal daily tasks would just drive me crazy. And I knew that there was something wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I couldn't pinpoint what the problem was. I think that was the most frustrating thing. And when you don't know how to help yourself get out of, I was basically calling it like a mood or a funk that I was in. And when you don't know how to help yourself to get out of that, it's hard to help yourself to, to know how to help yourself to get back to the true authentic self that you know yourself to be. And that's what I struggled for a very long time, was pinpointing what was wrong. And I did get to the bottom of what was bothering me. I'm not going to discuss it in this video because I'm not ready to talk about that on camera. I still have to sort out a few more things about that. But yeah, I just wanted to discuss a few things about the depression. So basically, it was kind of on and off. I was in and out of it from the end of September till about the end of October. And then I went real deep into it the month of November and a good part of December. And then I got better, and then I got worse, and then I got better, and then I got worse. And I went home to my parents' farm for 5 days. And that was a good reflecting point for me because I was able to find a quiet place to just gather my thoughts and kind of go through them in my head and figure out what they meant and what they were, uh, the patterns that they were causing my mind to go through that was maybe leading to the depression, which is very important to pinpoint that stuff so that you can work through it. A few analogies that I've come up with to describe what getting better through depression is like is it's kind of like walking up or hiking up or running up either a muddy slope or a a giant sand dune. And what I mean by that is you're slowly gonna make it to where you want to go, but there's gonna be days where you fall back into the depression that you were in, either whether that's a little bit better than you were at the start, or whether that's even worse than you were at the start, or somewhere in that area. You're gonna have, I wrote it as a relapse, but I'm still on the fence as to whether or not that's the right word. But again, no matter how you're feeling, you're always going to be getting better as long as you're working at it. And that relapse can look like many different things. For me, I couldn't stand people. I couldn't stand to be around people. I couldn't stand to talk to people. Everything that anyone said to me was I just found super irritable. And that drove me crazy because I'm not usually like that. And part of why that drove me crazy is because I'm usually a very social person in the right atmosphere. And the fact that I wasn't that really got to me. And that was one of the reasons why I needed to figure out what was going on. My ups and downs yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, I just didn't like anyone. I didn't really want to do anything. I was just basically, actually, you know what? The best way I can find to describe that is, and I wrote it down. I said, you lose sight of who you are and you slowly disappear inside yourself until you no longer are recognizable to yourself or to loved ones who know who the authentic you is. And that's exactly what I was going through, and it was at the worst. I didn't recognize myself anymore. I didn't recognize my own thoughts. Um, and that was really hard because when you don't know how to help yourself, you can't really do anything about it. And the fact that I was able to recognize that I was slowly going into a depression, I'm very happy about because I was able to slowly fix that. I'm not 100% yet, but I am getting there. And it's like that analogy I made. Each day I feel like I'm getting better, but there are days that are harder and there are days that are better. And I'm eventually going to get to the point where I need to be, but there's always a few days every, couple weeks or every couple weeks where I relapse and I go back to where I was, and then it takes me a little bit longer to get back to where I was and continue climbing up the, so to speak, trail. What else did I want to mention in this video? Yeah, so the last thing I want to end on is things that help me get out of it and get to where I am today. I like any kind of movement, so walking, running, any of that kind of stuff, just to get your literal body moving and not to be confined in a house and be dormant and just basically sitting watching TV, not getting out into the fresh air and getting some sun, vitamin D, that kind of stuff. Going for walks, runs, doing a whole day of errands where you're just on the go at all times. That is what I found helped me the most. As well, I have a tremendous amount of plants around my house, and tending to them, whether that's pruning them, watering them, repotting stuff, getting my hands deep in soil, and just getting, for lack of a better term, dirty with it. That really helped to bring me out of the funk, I'll call it. And as well, there's a third thing. What was my third thing? Oh, yes. So I've also been doing a bunch of research on winter camping. I think this is something that I want to get into. And just to give an example, just to see if I could do it, I spent last Friday night, I packed up my vehicle, parked it in the driveway. I think it was like minus 15 outside. And I slept in my vehicle overnight just to see if I could do it. I had a sleeping bag. I wasn't like super cold, but I was a little bit chilly. So that was just something that I wanted to do to prove to myself that I could stay in a sort of a shelter, which was my vehicle, and not freeze. And that really boosted my confidence that I was, of my willingness to do new things, because I didn't think that I was capable of doing something like that. As well, just getting the confidence to talk about this on a platform that is a little bit nerve-wracking to introduce yourself to, and talking about the depression. I also suffer from anxiety, but I'll talk about that in a different video. That is something powerful, because just saying stuff out loud, even if it's to a camera as I'm doing right now, it helps tremendously, because you get that thought or those thoughts or that thought pattern out of your head, and then that makes room, or just write it down like I did today. That gets it out of your head and makes room for new positive thoughts. And I think that is super powerful. So I hope that in me making this video, if you're watching this and you also suffered from depression, and you haven't found a way to necessarily um, find your true self again, which is what I'm still on the journey to. But hopefully, this can bring you some, I guess, clarity on what maybe works for other people. That's kind of the whole point in me making this video. I think that's all I wanted to say. I will make another video about anxiety and how I deal with that, but I think that is going to be it for now. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And we will, I'll keep you posted on how I'm doing, but hopefully the future brings very good things. And if anybody is out there suffering from depression, even worse than I am, just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it will get better, but you have to have the willingness to work through it. And I'm going to end on that note. Thanks for watching, everybody.